welcome back to our Conversations with Baba Ma podcast. Your first episode got an amazing reaction.
Yeah, I could
We
see
got
that.
lots and lots of comments, lots and lots of views. So we're happy to have you back again, which was the idea. You will be part of the conversations in between other people as well. So we talked a little bit about the importance of education last time in your family. Can you tell us more about your own education and how you have continued to learn through your life?
I think education is absolutely vital for any family. And if you can afford, you can also think about giving the children higher education. In our family, our parents really gave a lot of importance to education, especially my father and also my mother. My mother was not very highly educated. I think she completed 5 or 6 grades of schooling. But she was very, very interested in giving us education. So my father also thought that I should be put in a good school. So I was put in St. Gregory's High School, which was at that time, I'm talking about 50s. It was one of the best schools in Bangladesh. And in school, you learn a lot of things. First, you learn how to study, how to read, how to do maths, very basic things. Because I did schooling in St. Gregory's from class 1 to class 10. I was there for 10 years. A lot of interesting things you learn in school. The other thing is you learn how to be disciplined, how to respect your teachers and elders. Especially discipline. I learned discipline from my father, at whom I told you. I think it was strengthened because of my school's systems and requirements. Because of the teacher's way of teaching, you become interested to learn that subject more and more. We usually think that Bangla is a boring subject. Literature is a boring subject. But we had a teacher, his name was Nolini Sarkar. He explained Bangla so beautifully in the class. We became mesmerized and we understood the essence of Bangla and the juice of Bangla. When he used to teach us, we used to pay attention. But after some time, we used to slacken a bit. And Nolini Sarkar sir would all of a sudden stop teaching and tell us, Amra soja hoye bosbo, meaning we will sit up straight. That remained in me even now. I always sit up straight. This is how the values get strengthened in the school. In the college also, we learned a lot of things. We understood what student politics was.
So you had St. Gregory's.
10 years.
And then?
2 years of college.
Which was at Notre Dame College.
Notre Dame College. And then Dhaka University. Dhaka University was 3 years honors, 1 year master. So in university, we also learned politics. Because somehow or other, students were involved in politics. Even in national politics. You see, if you remember that the first movement during Pakistan was to have Bangla as a state language of Pakistan, because Bengalis were in majority in that country. But Pakistanis would not like that, especially the Punjabis. They were the rulers. They said, no, Urdu will be the language, state language.
This is in the
1952. The students revolted. As a result, the police opened fire and several students were shot and killed by the police. I was very, very young. But then that day, even now, is celebrated or remembered as Martyrs' Day. And later, it became, by the UN, it was declared International Mother Language Day, February 21st, that is the day. So, educating children is absolutely necessary. It doesn't matter what subject you study, but it matters how deep you go into the subject, how deeply you learn. It is more difficult for children to get more and more education in developing countries. It is, on the one hand, it is expensive. Secondly, opportunities are less. In good schools, you can count in fingers, right? And the poorer children cannot afford to go to good schools. Doing well in education and economic ability of the family is, go together. That's why in Bangladesh, there are many children who has talent, who has the ability, but they cannot get more education because of lack of uh, economic inability. That is the problem. But we were fortunate that although we come from middle class, but at least my parents could afford to give us the education. So all our brothers and sisters have done university education. Most of it was public.
More scholarships.
Yes. But it was not that expensive as it is now. So they could afford. Then came the time when I was thinking of doing higher education. Higher education you have to do outside the country. Either you have to have a lot of money or you have to get a scholarship or fellowship. I was looking for a fellowship, and at that time I got a job after my master's. I got a job in the Ministry of Planning. So in the ministry, there was not much work for me. There was just paper pushing. You give a note to the deputy secretary, it comes back after 1 week or 2 weeks. You sit for 2 weeks. So I used to apply for scholarships. I remember I applied for Commonwealth Scholarship to London. I didn't get it. Then there was some scholarships coming from Soviet Union. I applied and I got it. So people were discouraging me to go to Soviet Union. You will have a KGB agent behind you always. So I said I will go, but only my father encouraged me. He said, in our religion, it is said, for knowledge, if necessary, go to China. Now, there are two reasons why this was said. One is, China is too far. To go far to get education. But secondly, I researched later that our prophets were extremely knowledgeable, because at that time, China was getting together. It was fragmented into empires, but it became one China at that time. That knowledge must have percolated to the prophets. So it was interesting. So I said, I will go to Soviet Union. My dad said, go and educate yourself. Interestingly, I could not leave my job because I was in the government. It was difficult. I applied. Nothing was coming up. My scholarship was almost going. I remember my secretary said, why do you have to apply? You apply to me, tomorrow you go. If you apply to the government, the Ministry of Establishment, it'll take years. Yeah, I wanted to apply for lien. Lien means keeping the job, you go to scholarship, to study. Lien, that's called lien. But if I apply to my ministry, you don't need that. but you won't have the job. I applied, and he said, his name was Dr. Salehuddin Ahmed. He said, Salehuddin, you don't know what will happen after 5 years, 4 years. Why do you worry? You go. After you come back, you see what opportunities are there, and you think what to do. You don't have to necessarily come back to this ministry. So I left. This was very interesting because throughout our education in Dhaka, in Bangladesh, we learned Western economics. I was studying economics in university. It was all Western, Keynesian economics. But I always wanted to learn something new. So Soviet Union economics was totally new. It was socialistic economy. It was very different from Keynesian economics. So I studied, did my PhD, learned a lot of things. And one thing I learned that people were very extremely kind to me. And it's also my impression that in general, I visited many, many countries. In general, people are nice. Because if you are nice to people, if you discuss with people good intentions, you respond and you get good people. You have got good people everywhere, without any exception. So many years. For example, people generalize, don't go to Rome. Rome is a dangerous place. And you may be robbed, you may be hijacked, you never know. I have gone to Rome 10 times because of my job. And I have walked around. Interestingly, in Bangladesh, in Rome, you'll see a lot of Bangladeshis selling small things on the streets. I used to talk to them. One day, young man, he said, sir, people like you don't talk to us. You have come and talked to us. Let's go. He folded his business. He took me to his home. I also went. And I could see how they live. And we had some dal bhat, rice and dal, rice and lentils. And I was surprised to see how they lived and how they worked. It's one room, 4 beds, 1 table in between. 8 people live there. 4 people work in the morning hours, 4 people work in the night hours. That's how they lived, Bengalis. So this experience is invaluable, And so my values got more and more strengthened as I mixed with different kinds of people. This is important. As I said, diversity is important. But you have to mix with people, discuss with people. There is an interesting definition that intelligence is nothing more than discussing things with others. And it's absolutely correct. If you're kind and nice to people, people will be very nice to you. Like this man, he took me to his home. And this has happened over and over again in different countries. Once I got lost somewhere in Kolkata, and I was asking people, and they were very nice to show me around. In England, we had the same experience. But basically, I found people are nice everywhere. There are bad people everywhere. But they are small in number. If you are bad, you'll meet them. If you're good, you'll not meet them. I had to learn Russian and then write the thesis. It took me 5 years to do that. But I fell in love with foreign language. English was not foreign to us because English was part of our childhood training. Bengali is our mother tongue. Hindi and Urdu we learned by seeing television. So Russian was different. I thought if I can learn Russian, I can also learn other languages. My love of languages came from there. And once you learn an unknown foreign language, all languages become very easy. That's why I've learned Chinese. I'm learning Spanish now. Almost 500 days of Spanish I've done. Whenever we went for a visit to a country, I used to learn the language a little bit. I went to Germany. I learned Guten Morgen, Guten Tag, out one. I went to France, I learned French, Bonjour, Bonsoir, Comment ça va, etc. I didn't go to an Arab country, but I know a little bit of Arabic. Because in a country where majority are Muslims, we have to learn how to read and write Arabic. We did that. I can read and write Arabic, but I don't understand. So there's a story. I went to Bangladesh after my PhD. I wanted to learn Arabic. I got admitted in a school, small school, which was called Tafsirul Quran, meaning translation of Quran. I said, I'll learn. So I got admitted. After some days, I was doing very well in Arabic. The teacher was very happy with my progress. He said, sir, he told me, sir, because I was a PhD, you are so good. We need you. We need people like you. I said, okay, I'll help you, whatever you need. Then one day he said, sir, you come on next Sunday or Monday, we will take you somewhere. I said, okay, I will come. He was my teacher. When I went, they started taking my measurements of clothing. I said, why are you doing this? He said, sir, you have to come with us to preach Islam. You have to wear, it's called al-khalla, long dress with us. It was green colored. I vividly remember, I said, I'm not that kind of a person. I'm a multifarious, multi-dimensional person. I don't want to get stuck into this. That was the end of my Arabic learning. No, religion, I think, is something a person respects and follows. But my opinion of religion is that every religion is good, provided someone doesn't become a fundamentalist. Fundamentalist is you obey each and every tenet of religion without thinking whether it makes sense or not at the present time. Without questioning, no questioning. But I think each religion has its own values. You can take best part of the values, whatever is not accepted by a society for the betterment of mankind is not developmental. I have studied Islam, Christianity, Hinduism, Buddhism. I've seen most of the religions are saying the same thing. Good things. History of religions. You'll find that most of the regulations and rules were made by men. That is the problem. Women had no say in the formulation of these rules and regulations of religion. When I sent you abroad, my own relatives said a lot of things against this decision. You're sending your daughters to West and they learn all the wrong values from the West. And you sent your another daughter to China. What would they learn from China? Because knowledge about China is very limited in our societies. I said that's not true because education will equip my children to face this competitive world. That's why I'm sending them to higher education. Secondly, I believe in diversity. They'll be exposed to other societies while they learn how to respect people from other societies. And that's what has really happened. I can see that now. So education is absolutely necessary for anyone. It doesn't matter for boys or girls. I don't differentiate. Equally true for boys, equally true for girls. And this has given me the opportunity to educate my two daughters, and my wife has also supported me. Interestingly, my wife was in Bangla college graduate, meaning 12 years of education when she got married. I was always encouraging your mother to go for education. So she did her master's, she did a PhD from China, and I'm surprised that this woman has so much of interest in education. Even now, she's still educating herself, and she has learned how to paint. Painting is also education. So I think education is really, really needed for the societies. In our society, I think 30% people are illiterate. So they are being exploited by the literate rich. If there was a lot of education in our society, things would not be like this. It would be difficult for people to exploit others. I see that tendency in developed countries. Developed countries don't value people in developing countries. It's all these problems around the world. Developed countries are serving their interests by exploiting the underdeveloped countries. It has historically happened. Look at what the British did to the colonies. So it has been happening always. But that's unfortunate. So I always promoted education in my family, and I got highly benefited by this. I never thought of coming to US for staying. I was okay. I was living all right. My two daughters in America, they actually pulled me to them. Now I cannot go back, and my wife cannot go back because of my grandchildren. And we have a new one now who is 17 months old, and she's like a doll to us. So we're very happy. I would be happy anywhere in the world, but we're very happy to be with them in the US. It's a very different world now from what we were in. But one thing parents must understand, that you should not force students or force your children to do something as your own plan. Let the child grow. The time will come when the child will decide what kind of education he or she needs. Because now the opportunities have become enormous. Technology is taking over. Traveling is easy. And that is why children should learn several languages. You never know where you will end up in this world. You may end up in China, you may end up in Thailand, or you may end up in some African countries. If you know the language, the opportunities will definitely grow. So that child has to understand. He will understand. He or she will understand. Secondly, you are supposed to give values to your children. Give good values. The child will learn how to distinguish between right and wrong. That's important. And you should not think, as a parent, you should not think that your child will be like you. I have heard many parents say that, I want him to be like me. That will never happen. I think these are the things which you have to keep in mind. But at the same time, they should interact with people. Now technology is taking over. They don't interact. They take a phone and then they concentrate on the phone. But that's important, interaction. Discussing things with others. So these are the facets of life you have to accept and give to your children.